So in this session, I'm going to cover some of the common interview questions that would be asked in any of the IT pre-sales interviews. So I'm not going to cover some of the common questions like, tell about yourself or what are your strengths and weakness or something like where you wanna see in the next 5 years. So keeping those common questions aside, let me just focus on some of the common interview questions that will be asked related to the IT pre-sales function. Okay, so let me get into the some of the questions, like explain the end-to-end pre-sales process in your current company. So we have already covered this portion as part of the bid management process. So you can talk about how sales or someone brings the requirement, how the bid approval process like go or no go decision is taken, how you set up the internal stakeholders, how you are going to reach the internal stakeholders for solutioning, how you are raising some of the questions related to that requirement to the customers, how we are going to prepare the proposal, how the internal approvals are going up, like is it a technical approval or a commercial approval or even a management approval, and then how we are going to submit the proposal, and also something like how we are going to run through kind of a proposal walkthrough session after submitting the proposal, and then the last one is the negotiation and then the scope of work. So this is something, the end-to-end pre-sales process you can talk about in your company, how it has been carried out. That is first question. And the second question is on the what is the average value of proposal you worked. So this is one of the very common question wherein interviewer try to understand how big the proposal, how big the value of the proposal you worked on. So this is something you can tell about if it is India-based company, try to put it in INR, something like I worked up to 5 crores of value of proposals, or somewhere between 3 crores to 5 crores or 1 crore to 2 crores. So based on the solution, based on the requirements whatever you worked, or based on the kind of value of opportunities the interviewing company might be looking out for. So just frame it, just change it according to the situation. But if it is an India-based company, try to put it in INR, and if it is an other than India-based company, try to put it in USD as a common conversion currency. And the third question is on the which industry and market you have experience working in. So this is again a very important question, and this is a very common question in most of the interviews. So they try to evaluate whether you have an understanding of a focused industry of the interviewing company, right? And also the market. So market is also very important. So every market, every customers are different. So a company based out of India and a company based out of US, it's completely different, I would say. So based on my own experience as well. So as part of industry, you can put something like manufacturing industry or oil and gas industry or financial services or retail industry. So whatever, again, you need to modify it as per the requirement from the interviewing company, the new company where you are going to interview, where you are currently having the interview. And also the market. So focus market is something like whether you have experience working for India customers or Middle East customers or Western customers, something like European customers or US customers or the APAC customers, something like Malaysia or Australia or Japan customers. So again, the major thing is again they will expect whether you have that local experience in the particular market whether you worked on, right? That is the third question. And the fourth question is on the how do you manage tight timelines for managing a proposal submission. So this is a very common scenario, right? In any of the IT pre-sales, there might be scenarios wherein the requirement might come on a Monday and they would expect a proposal on Wednesday or Thursday. This is a very common scenario. Although this is not a standard protocol, but at times it happens. And also, the company would expect you to how you would react in those situations. So you can probably talk about your time management skills, and also you can talk about the bid plan, the bid tracker, whatever we discussed earlier in the bid management section. So you need to come up with a plan, even if it is a 2 days or 3 days, how we are going to address it, right? So that is with fourth question. And then the fifth question is on explain about one of the complex proposal you worked. What are the challenges you faced during the proposal preparation? This is again a very common question, and you need to be very much prepared about this question, because at least in all the interviews whatever I have attended, this is one of the very common question, and I have a standard answer as well, right? So as you are following, I'm coming from a SAP pre-sales background. So in my case, what I would say is, on related to the complex proposal, I generally quote an example where I worked for one of the very large ministry based out of Middle East, wherein the number of modules within SAP is very huge. So all the core modules and also some of the niche modules like IS Retail, or something like APO or IBP. So if you are in SAP fraternity, you will know about it. But it's just, I'm just quoting an example. It's not something you also need to be aware of. It's nothing like that. So just on the complex proposal, I'm just quoting an example like, so one thing is the number of modules, the number of features, you can put it up like that. So number of features is very high. That is one thing. The second complexity here is, we don't have all the internal skills. So what we did is, for almost 70 to 80% of the requirements we can cover with our internal consultants, but for the 20% of the remaining requirements, we actually went for a freelancing, wherein we hired one freelancing consultant, and we need to, I'm in the fulcrum in the center, and I've been coordinating with our internal stakeholders, with that external stakeholder, that freelancing person. And also there's one more thing is, it came through one of the reference from one of our partner. So I have 3 parties, and I am the one who is consolidating the responses from all the 3. And the major challenge again here is that partner company is based out of US, and I am sitting in India, and my freelancer is sitting in Middle East. So there is a time zone difference, there is a language difference. So it was, I wouldn't call it as a chaos, but it was very challenging, and it went for almost a couple of weeks, almost 2 to 3 weeks, and the total deal size was almost 3 to 4 million. There were a lot of commercials involved in, a lot of consolidation happened from multiple parties, multiple stakeholders involved in, and finally we could able to submit it on time. So I'm not disclosing the results, but so we could able to submit it on time. So this is one of my own personal experience of a complex proposal. So you can come up with your own version of complex proposal based on your experience, or you can modify whatever I said. So that's up to you. But this is one version of complex proposal, right? That is one thing. And then let me get into the 6th question, which is, can you share some learnings from a lost proposal opportunity? So as I was saying, in pre-sales, we generally there might be a case wherein the loss would be more than the gain. So say for example, if you are submitting 10 proposals, you might win 2 proposals out of it, and there might be a loss of 4 to 5 proposals, and the remaining 2 to 3 proposals might be on hold. So it is always important to understand what are all the learnings we have from a lost proposal opportunity. So the reasons might be very different. Something like we may not understand the requirements in detail. The RFP, the requirements was not clear, or the proposal itself, whatever we prepared, is not up to the mark, in comparison to with the competitors. So, and also there might be a reason like the salesperson on the ground may not have a executive connect with the customer side, and there might be a reason like our commercials are very high compared to the counterparts who have submitted the proposal for the same opportunity. The reason might be ranging across everywhere, but then it is very important to understand what are all the learnings we got from a lost proposal opportunity, so that we'll try to optimize it, we'll try to learn it from the mistake, and then we go ahead with a much better approach in the next proposals, right? And then on the 7th question, what tools you used during the proposal preparation? So it ranges from ecosystem of Microsoft tools like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or Excel or Visio. That's one part of it. That's where we used to have at least a couple of years back. But then after the introduction of AI, there are multiple tools that are available in the market. Something like Canva, or to create presentations, to create proposals itself. So there are a lot of automations have happened in the recent past to create image, to create videos. So there are a lot of tools available. So whatever tools you are comfortable with, you can quote it during the interview. But then before getting into the AI tools, always start with this Microsoft tools, because this is the basic. End of the day, all the proposals, at least 99% of proposals will be submitted in Word or in a PowerPoint version, and the commercials will happen in a Excel. So whatever that happens, this is the current reality as of 2025, I would say. Right? So always start with these 3 to 4 applications and then move into the AI tools, whatever I said or whatever you actually use, right? That is one thing. And on the 8th question, have you done product demos? If yes, what are the prerequisites before a demo? So this is one important question where interviewer try to understand whether you have experience doing a product demo. So this is important to understand the prerequisites before a demo. So only when you have done a demo, you would be knowing what are all the questions and what are all the prerequisites that would be that you should have done. And if we have covered these prerequisites in one of our session. But just to give you a background, so one thing is you need to understand the audience, so that you can tailor make the demo as per the audience interest. Say for example, if you are giving a demo to a CFO, you need to talk in a finance language more than an operations or a sales language. In the same way, if you are demoing a CRM to a head of sales or a sales manager, then you need to talk more on the value it provides. It should talk more on the productivity it reduces rather than on the numbers. So the main prerequisite is you need to understand the audience and you need to tailor made the demo as per the audience area of interest. That's one thing. The second major important thing is you need to understand that particular demo environment is up and live. In most of the cases, we all know, again, see, during the demo, prior to demo everything works well, but during the demo there is high chances it cracks up, and it actually did it in some of the cases for me as well. So it is very important to make sure you log into the demo environment at least 30 minutes prior to the demo and make sure the credentials are not changed, or the data is there. Data is another important prerequisite, wherein you need to at least upload some of the data which is relevant for the customer. Say for example, if you are demoing to a FMCG client, put something related to groceries or something like cookies or chocolates in the master data, rather than a steel bar or something cars or scooters, or something completely out of out of sync from FMCG sector. So that data vanity is important. So that is another prerequisite. So these are all some of the prerequisites, and I have covered some more prerequisites in my previous session as well. Right? And on the 9th, according to you, what are the major skill sets required to be successful in pre-sales? Yeah, so this is something we covered during the primary skills and secondary skills section. So you can talk about problem solving skills, or time management skills, or your collaboration skills, your communication skills. So you can highlight all those skills as some of the basic skills you should possess to be successful. And again, if you are experienced during your tenure, you would have came across some other skills that would be required, so you can highlight those skills as well. Right? And the last one is why you chosen pre-sales as a career, and what is driving you to get into pre-sales, and what stands you apart from other candidates. So this is a little tricky question, I would say. So here interviewer would like to evaluate whether you really understood pre-sales profile or not, whether you really have experience in pre-sales. So this is very important from a candidate side to answer it properly. So you can highlight some of the things like so pre-sales is a profile wherein you do a problem solving, you propose solution to a challenge, whether uh, wherein you understand the challenge from the customer and you propose a solution to address the challenge. So this is not something selling, or this is not something implementation part of it. Rather, it is more like supporting a customer by understanding the challenge and proposing a solution to address that challenge. This is one thing wherein problem solving is one of the major skill set. And then the second thing you can highlight is so pre-sales is something ever growing profile wherein every day is different. So you're not going to work with the same customer for years and years. No, even probably you might be talking to a person for a week and then you will move to a new customer the next week, and you need to unlearn whatever you learned from the previous week, and you need to start something, learn new from the new customer. So every day is different in pre-sales, and that's something, if you like it, you know that's where you started getting into pre-sales. That's something you can highlight. And the third thing is, if you are so creative and if you are so fond of documentations and if you are so fond of communicating with new people. So these are all some of the traits which is not applicable for everyone, right? So I have seen many people would like to just put their headsets on and just work on the assigned activity for the day and move on. So this pre-sales profile is not for those people for sure. So you need to love to talk to new people, you need to love to understand their challenges, and then you need to come up with a solution for those challenges. So there are multiple things involved in pre-sales, and if you like those things, then that's where you would have chosen pre-sales, and you need to highlight those things during this question. And you need to be extremely motivated while especially answering this question. So the interviewer should it should be visible to the interviewer on the other side. So yeah, these are all some of the very common interview questions in IT Presales I have come across during my interviews, and by the time I have taken interviews for the new candidates as well. So I have picked few of the questions from this list as well, and I would have picked most of the questions, I would say. So make sure you have a proper answer from your version of it. So I have just shared some of the answers from my version, from my experience, but make sure you have your own version of the answers, and I'm sure you will crack it. All the best.